The title that I chose to summarize my life in 6 minutes is Rap, Radio, and Reaching Out. I thought I would talk a bit about the turning points in my life. I've had quite a few adventures, and it all began in Burlington, Ontario. There's my dad. There's my uncle. That's my grandma's house on Plains Road. That's one of the biggest roads in Burlington. My family has been in Burlington since the 1780s, so I feel really rooted from there. This is me and my mom and my dad in the late 70s. I was really quiet. I read a lot. I talk so much now as an adult, so you probably won't believe me, but I was very quiet. I read a lot, and I was a little confused. I was confused why adults treated kids so strangely. I went out once with a neighbor. I'm going to run out of time on this, I'm sure. He gave me a purple popsicle. I said, "Let me eat the popsicle in the car." He said, "No, please don't." I said, "Why? I've eaten one of these before, you know." Anyway, this is the highway. Burlington is on the QEW in Toronto. As I moved away from Burlington, people would ask me, where is that place? Especially when I went to high school in Toronto, they'd ask, "Where is that place?" And I'd say, "Well, it's kind of near Toronto. It's kind of near it's down the highway." I think a lot more people drove past Burlington than ever got off and spent some time there. When I got to Inglenook High School, an alternative school in Toronto, my eyes were widened. I tried a falafel for the first time. I met real live hippies. And I also was introduced to feminism. I had a teacher there named Gretchen who filled all of the chalkboards in our class one day with names of female writers. And that said to me that there's a lot more information out there. You just have to look. It gave me a sense of how much there was to learn in the world. When I was 17, I moved to Montreal. This is the Tam Tam. Anybody ever been there? My apartment was very, very close by. I had a really good time in Montreal. It was also just before the referendum in 1995. So I had an opportunity to really learn to respect different perspectives. I went back to Burlington to finish high school. I got hit by a car on the night of my high school graduation. It was horrible, but it somehow put me in the frame of mind to immediately accept the job offer I received the next morning in BC. Look, beautiful BC. When I arrived, it was amazing. It was rainy. It was beautiful. There were mountains. There was an ocean. I enjoyed myself. I was having a lot of fun working in BC, but I thought, I needed to do something fun. Work is fine, but what about something fun? I ended up going to UBC Next to their campus community radio station and launching Rhymes and Reasons. It was the first radio show playing rap music on CITR with ladies dropping the beats. That led to a variety of experiences in the community. I was part of the group that put on the Sisterhood celebration for 10 years in Vancouver. It always happened for International Women's Day. I started really celebrating creation and celebrating equality. Being a part of this group made a big difference in my life. I kind of became a bit of a local celeb. I was on the paper one time. And I started DJing around, putting on different shows. I've appeared as extras in rap videos several times. I'm featured on a song that's totally not safe for work. I was having an amazingly fun time, but I thought that I should try to focus those efforts. And at this point, I did decide what I wanted to learn in school, and I wanted to learn to become a radio broadcaster. So I went to BCIT. It was the busiest time of my life. I was going to school 5 days a week. I was bartending in 3 different bars. I was hosting a radio show after midnight on 96.1 FM. I was selling ads to keep the show on the air. But I learned so much. This is from Mojo. Does anybody remember Mojo Talk Radio for Men? This is the first job I ever had, my first real job in radio. And I hated the content so much. This is about a terrible show they had on Valentine's Day that was so incredibly sexist. They went off the air. Mojo Radio went off the air. I was not sorry to see them go, and from there I moved on to CKNW. I got to answer phone calls at the traffic desk. I got to be the weekend traffic reporter, and they even trained me in the eye in the sky. I got to fly around in the eye in the sky. I was thrilled to be on the air, but I wanted to get back to the music. Music is such a passion for me. So when Sirius Satellite Radio came to Canada and when CBC Radio 3 became a full-time station, they hired me as a host, and I lost my mind. It was my dream job. It was amazing. I got to play Canadian hip-hop for people all over the place. Oh yeah, and I got married. That was a bit of a turning point too. I really got to spin through here. Okay, got married. That's my husband, Gary. We're kissing underwater. We've been married for 8 years. We're still smiling. having that love and support when you're working so hard to pursue your dreams is incredibly important. When I returned from getting married with Gary, I went on tour. That's how supportive he is. He said, see you later, have fun on tour. CBC Radio 3 and Bon Depart put on a bilingual concert tour all across Canada, 8 different cities, English and French. It was amazing, and I got to see what an incredible country we live in. Next turning point, this one's cliche, but I have to say it, becoming a parent changed my life forever, in the biggest way ever. 1 hour old, he is in that picture. That's my son, gosh. And for me, after this point, after having a kid, it meant that I had to fight for a better future. I couldn't just play rap music and have fun. I needed to do something that was a bit more meaningful. Back at CBC, I'd finished at Radio 3. I'd been offered a job at DNTO in Winnipeg, which was on CBC Radio 1, which is like terrestrial radio all across Canada. I had the music, I had the radio, I had a really good time in Winnipeg, but something had changed, I think because I'd become a mom. I was looking for something more. So I came out to Richmond. I was looking at what Youth Services was doing. I think the youth-focused approach for many of the programs and services in Richmond is unique and amazing. And I'd like to give Wayne Yee a shout out for hiring me to resurrect the DJ program that the city once ran. So the DJ program came back. It grew into the Richmond Youth Media program. Now I'm in the Media Lab. You can find me there 5 days a week. I feel so lucky that I get to share the skills that I have in so many ways. I feel so lucky I get to keep learning every day. And I'd also like to thank the teenagers that are here with me tonight.